Hi everyone, it's Arlene coming to you with another video tutorial for My Favorite Things. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cut out a rolled rose using grunge paper. And the cool thing about this is with the grunge paper, you can spray it, you can emboss it, you can ink it and do what you want with it, and it stays pretty pliable. So let me go ahead and show you what sandwich you'll need. So you're going to use, for a Big Shot, you're going to use your multi-purpose platform, and you're going to have it set to tab 2, which is all of the tabs closed. You'll take a cutting plate, you'll take your die, and then you'll take your grunge paper, and you're going to go ahead and lay that on top of the die. Actually, before we do that, I like to use these shims, and these shims are really thin pieces of plastic that come with the crease pad when you purchase the crease pad through Sizzix, which is typically comes with your texture plates when you buy texture plates with them in the sets. So I'm going to go ahead and put those two underneath, and what that's going to do is it's going to provide a cleaner cut for me. So I have die cut side up, and I'm going to put the grunge paper right on top of that, and then my second cutting plate right on top of that, and then I'm going to go ahead and run it through. Okay, and this is what we get, and then you're just going to go ahead and pop that right out of the paper. And the die was intended to not be a perfect cut, or won't just pop out, so you just need to take your scissors and just go ahead and cut that last slit so it comes completely off the sheet. Okay, so there we go. And then you just play around with it. I like the grunge look, so the rough edges for me are okay. I don't mind it. But if you do mind the rough edges, you can always sand it down or snip it, the rough edges off. But like I said, I like the rough edges because I usually work with a lot of distress in the work that I do. So, okay, so here's the base, here's the rolled rose. So let me go ahead and take you into how to distress this. One of the cool things about working with grunge paper is you can emboss and distress and it won't fall apart on you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry emboss my rolled rose, and I'm going to use this Sizzix embossing folder, and I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in there. And then I have my multi-purpose platform set to tab 1. I have cutting plate down. You put your folder with the die cut inside on top of that, and then your next cutting plate, and then you just go ahead and run that through. Okay, and this is what you get. It's really cool, really fun. You guys can see that. Okay, so you see the texture that I achieved there using the cutting plate or the embossing plate. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spray box, and I'm going to go ahead and spray up this rolled rose. I'm going to go ahead and use my Starburst stains in Rudolph's Nose Red. Okay, and then I'm going to heat set that. And that's another good thing about grunge paper is you can heat set and distress and it won't warp on you. And then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to spray the back. Okay, so this is what you get, okay, after spraying it. Now what I'm going to do, since I have some embossed pieces of that, I'm going to take my Vintage Photo Distress ink, and I'm just going to lightly brush over the flower with that. And this is going to capture the embossed or the raised parts of the flower. Gives it a really cool look. So that's what it looks like. You guys can see the... Okay. Now to pull the rolled rose together, I'm going to take the end of a paintbrush, and I'm going to start on this end with the embossed side up, the embossed side that I just distressed with the Vintage Photo ink, and I'm going to go ahead and start rolling. And you're just going to take that all the way around and keep it rolling around your paintbrush. And this is the base that you'll be adhering your flower together on, so you want to make sure you leave a little bit of space here when you're rolling. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. And if you could see, this is my base. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go ahead and push everything down onto that base. And if you look at it, it's way too tight. And that's okay because you can do some adjustment. Now we rolled it to the right, so now we need to go lefty-loosey. Kind of just twist a little bit to the left, and you're going to loosen up those petals a little bit. And you also want to make sure that the petals sort of stagger, so it's looking pretty. Okay, now you don't want to loosen it too much because then it might get a little too open in the center, which is what I did here. Do you see how big, how open that is? So what I'm going to do is take my tweezers. Find my tweezers. Okay, see how my tweezers here? And I'm just going to insert that and I'm going to twist it. So that's how you can actually correct the error of making it too wide. You guys can see how I did that? Actually, I want to loosen up the bigger petals a little bit more, the outer petals. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hold that so it doesn't come undone. Now I'm going to take the base, you guys can see the base right there, and I'm going to put some hot glue and I'm going to put this back on top of that. Grab my gun here. Okay, and while that hot glue is still sort of setting, I'm going to try to tighten this one up one last time. And then sort of push that down so it gets into the hot glue. So the cool thing about the grunge paper again is you can play around with the petals and it's very forgiving because it's very pliable, so it won't rip on you. So you can sort of try to curl the petals down. And you can actually use a paintbrush or use your tweezers to do this. Like if you take your tweezers and kind of bend it. You can start to shape your flower. Okay, so there we go. And it's really cool because it's got that distressed look. I love it. So there we go, guys. Hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching.